the dating jungle. It's a wild, wonderful place, filled with more creatures than a petting zoo after a hurricane. You've got your lovebirds, your lone wolves, your cuttlefish. They're real. Look it up. And then you've got your alpha males. They strut around like they own the place, chests puffed out, metaphorical roars echoing through the trees. These majestic beasts convinced they're the top dogs, or should we say, top lions, believe every heart should flutter at their approach. But something funny's going on in the jungle these days. The lady animals, they're not exactly swooning. In fact, some of them are starting to roll their eyes. Tigresses are really good at that, by the way, while others are sharpening their claws, ready to swipe left faster than you can say toxic masculinity. What's a confused carnivore to do? Buckle up, folks, because we're about to dive headfirst into the hilarious, hair-raising world of alpha males trying to navigate the modern dating scene. Remember the good old days? No, not the good old days. The ones where men were men and women were, well, expected to faint at the sight of a well-tailored suit and a firm handshake. Back then, the alpha male was king. He was the strong, silent type who spoke softly, but carried a big stick. Metaphorically, of course, we hope. He was all about chivalry, opening doors, pulling out chairs, and probably never asking for directions because, well, alpha males don't need maps. These guys were the stars of every action movie, the heroes of every romance novel, and the inspiration for countless questionable pickup lines involving the words, baby, and come here often. They were a potent cocktail of confidence, some might say arrogance, charisma, or maybe just really good hair, and competition, because everything's a contest, right? Ladies and gentlemen, the alpha male, a relic from a bygone era, like shoulder pads and dial-up internet. But hold on, are those roars getting closer? Fast forward to the age of Tinder, Twitter, and telling it like it is. The dating game has changed, my friends, and it's about time. Gone are the days of waiting by the phone, hoping he'll call. Seriously, what was that about? Modern women, those glorious independent creatures, have discovered the joys of ghosting, breadcrumbing, and the ultimate power move blocking his number before the first date even happens. They're done with playing damsels in distress, waiting for Prince Charming to rescue them from boredom, or worse, a boring conversation. These days, women are looking for partners, not projects. They want someone who can hold their own in a debate about climate change and pick a decent bottle of wine. They value intelligence, humor, and empathy, and they're not afraid to call out BS when they see it. So where does this leave our beloved alpha male? Well, that's where the fun really begins. Our alpha male, bless his heart, he's still working off the same playbook his great-great-grandpappy used to woo women back in the Stone Age. He believes the bigger the display of dominance, the faster she'll swoon. He's got his rules, etched in stone, literally, in his mind. Rule number 1. Always interrupt. Whether it's her story about her promotion or a server taking her order, he's got something more important to say. Rule number 2. Maintain eye contact. Not just any eye contact, mind you, but the kind that would make a basilisk blush. Rule number 3. Never, ever admit he's wrong. Even if he's lost, he's winning. In his own mind, at least. He's convinced this is how you win the game, but he's starting to realize the rules have changed. In fact, they've been thrown out the window, stomped on, and set on fire by a group of women chanting something about equality and Beyoncé. Section 2. Confidence or cockiness. A fine line in the sand. Now, don't get me wrong, confidence is a beautiful thing. It's magnetic, it's attractive, It's basically the human equivalent of freshly baked cookies. But our alpha male, he sometimes mistakes confidence for its obnoxious cousin, cockiness. He walks into a room like he's the answer to a question nobody asked. He's convinced everyone's staring at him. They probably are, but not for the reason he thinks. He dispenses unsolicited advice like it's candy, even when no one asked for his opinion on their outfit, their career choice, or the best way to peel a banana. It's like he missed the memo that being a know-it-all isn't a turn-on. Modern women, they see right through that facade. They want someone who's confident, yes, but also humble, kind, and able to admit when they're wrong. Gasp. Section 3. Communication breakdown. Lost in translation. Here's the thing. Alpha males, they love to talk. About themselves, mostly. They'll tell you about their accomplishments, their workout routines, their impressive collection of vintage socks. What they're not so good at listening. They nod politely while she's talking, but their minds are already plotting their next brilliant monologue. They miss the nuances, the subtle hints, the fact that she just told him she's allergic to cats, while he's busy showing off pictures of his Maine Coon. Modern women, on the other hand, they crave connection. They want conversations that flow, where both people feel heard and understood. They want to talk about their passions, their fears, their dreams, and maybe, just maybe, hear about yours too. Section 4. Modernity meets machismo. An epic showdown. And so, we arrive at the heart of the matter. The clash between the alpha male's outdated tactics and the modern woman's expectations. It's a comedy of errors, a recipe for disaster, a reality show waiting to happen. He tries his old tricks, the cheesy pickup lines, the over-the-top compliments, the insistence on paying for everything even though she offered to split the bill. She, in turn, raises an eyebrow, calls him out on his assumptions, and maybe even challenges him to a debate on feminist theory, just for the fun of it. It's a jungle out there, folks, and the rules are changing faster than you can say gender equality. Our alpha male, he's got a choice to make, adapt or risk going extinct. The rise of the independent woman. Sorry, not sorry. Gone are the days when women waited patiently for a knight in shining armor, preferably one with a trust fund and a tolerance for gossip. Modern women, they've got their own dragons to slay, thank you very much. They're building careers, chasing dreams, and rescuing themselves from awkward first dates with the grace of 1,000 gazelles. Those things are surprisingly nimble. They're independent, self-sufficient, and perfectly capable of changing a tire, opening a jar, and dismantling the patriarchy, all before their morning coffee. They don't need a man to complete them. They need a partner in crime, someone who can keep up with their quick wit, their busy schedule, and their unwavering dedication to binge-watching true crime documentaries. So, when our alpha male strides in, expecting a round of applause for simply existing, he's met with a puzzled stare. That's cute, she thinks, but did you bring snacks? Emotional unavailability. The alpha's kryptonite? Here's a secret. Alpha males, for all their bravado, can be a bit emotionally constipated. They're like human versions of those clams that take years to open up, and even then, you're not sure what you're going to get. They're masters of deflecting, repressing, and changing the subject whenever things get a little too real. Ask them how they're feeling, and they'll probably grunt, shrug, and start talking about the stock market or their latest CrossFit achievement. But modern women, they're fluent in the language of emotions. They're not afraid to cry during sad movies, express their frustrations, or have a good old-fashioned heart-to-heart. They crave vulnerability, authenticity, and the kind of connection that makes your soul sing, or at least hum along to a catchy tune. So when our alpha male tries to brush off a heartfelt conversation with a joke or a dismissive comment, he's met with a look that could curdle milk. It's the look that says, "Honey, I've got more emotional range in my pinky finger than you've displayed in our entire relationship." From Damsel to Dynamo, rewriting the narrative. Modern women, they're rewriting the dating script, and it's a hilarious, empowering read. They're done with playing the damsel in distress, the shrinking violet, the one who waits by the phone, hoping he'll call. Seriously, what was that about? They're not afraid to make the first move, initiate a date, or even propose with a ring that doesn't bankrupt their partner. Because, financial responsibility is sexy. They're challenging gender norms, questioning expectations, and generally turning the dating world on its head. Our alpha male, he's still stuck in the old story, the one where he's the hero and she's the prize. He's not quite sure how to handle a woman who's not afraid to speak her mind, challenge his opinions, and pay for her own damn dinner. It's a brave new world out there, and our alpha male, he's gonna need a new map, a new attitude, and maybe even a new pair of dancing shoes. Because these modern women, they love to dance. Section 4. The strong silent type meets the outspoken queen. Remember that whole strong silent type thing? Yeah, that's not really working anymore. Modern women, they're not impressed by a man who communicates primarily through grunts, nods, and the occasional monosyllabic response. They want conversations that sparkle, debates that challenge, and jokes that make them snort laugh into their coffee. They're drawn to intelligence, wit, and the ability to express oneself with eloquence and humor. Our alpha male, he's used to letting his actions speak louder than his words. He's the king of grand gestures, the master of nonverbal communication. But in the world of modern dating, sometimes you need to actually use your words, and preferably more than just and make me a sandwich. It's a recipe for comedic disaster, this clash of communication styles. She's a whirlwind of words. He's a fortress of silence. She's an open book. He's a locked diary with the key conveniently lost. Section 5. Dating app, debacles. Alpha profiles gone wrong. Ah, the wonderful world of dating apps, where egos are inflated, bios are embellished, and profile pictures are at least 5 years old. Our alpha male, he's convinced his chiseled jawline and carefully curated photos of him posing with exotic animals, borrowed from Google Images, of course, will be enough to attract a mate. His bio probably includes phrases like gym rat, alpha male, and looking for my queen. He lists his hobbies as traveling, fine dining, and dominating the boardroom. What he forgets to mention is his crippling fear of puppies, his inability to boil water without setting off the smoke alarm, and his secret obsession with reality TV. Modern women, they can smell a phony profile from a mile away. They're not fooled by the staged photos, the generic bios, or the overuse of emojis. They're looking for authenticity, humor, and maybe even a decent grammar check. The gym rat and the bookworm, a misunderstood encounter. Picture this, a dimly lit coffee shop, the aroma of roasted beans. Our alpha male, fresh from a workout, spots her, a vision in an oversized sweater. She looks up, startled, her bookmark tumbling to the floor. He sees this as his chance. He picks it up, mispronouncing the title. He launches into a description of his latest deadlift personal best. She smiles politely, trying to decipher his gym rat dialect. Section 2. The fine dining debacle. When alpha meets foodie. Our alpha male decides to impress. He books a table at the fanciest restaurant in town, the kind with more Michelin stars than a planetarium. He figures this will win her over. After all, What woman doesn't love being wined and dined? He orders the most expensive bottle of wine, despite the sommelier's subtle suggestions that it pairs poorly with, well, everything. He then proceeds to butcher the French pronunciation of his chosen dish, a culinary crime witnessed by the entire restaurant. She, on the other hand, is a woman of refined palate and adventurous spirit. She orders with confidence, engaging the waiter in a discussion of regional variations on the amuse-bouche. She sips her wine with the air of a connoisseur, while he practically inhales his, mistaking quantity for class. He spends the evening bragging about his business deals, his expensive watch, anything to regain control of the situation. She, meanwhile, is mentally calculating how many novels she could buy with the cost of this disastrously overpriced meal. Section 3. The Mansplaining Incident. A comedy of errors. They say the road to hell is paved with good intentions, but in this case, it's paved with poorly timed explanations and unsolicited advice. Our alpha male, in his infinite wisdom, decides she needs his guidance. She's talking about her work, a complex project involving astrophysics and international diplomacy. She's impressive like that. He nods along, pretending to understand until he can't contain himself any longer. He interrupts, naturally, launching into a detailed explanation of what he believes her job entails. His explanation is, shall we say, simplified. As in, it would make a 5-year-old say, "That's not how it works." She listens with the patience of a saint, fighting the urge to correct his every misguided statement. Finally, she calmly explains that, actually, she has a PhD in the subject and has been running this particular project for the past 3 years. He, flustered and embarrassed, resorts to mumbling about women in the workplace and how it's good she's passionate. She smiles thinly, resisting the urge to replace his next glass of water with his overpriced wine. Section 4. The rescue attempt that backfired spectacularly. It's a classic tale as old as time. The damsel in distress, and the knight who comes to her rescue. Except in this version, the damsel is perfectly capable of rescuing herself, and the knight ends up looking like a jester. She's locked out of her apartment, but before she can reach for her phone, our alpha male appears. He insists on taking charge. She finally explains she has a spare key with a neighbor. He stands there, defeated, as she unlocks the door. Section 5. The ghosting, the blocking, the unmatching, digital dismissal. Oh, the sweet satisfaction of the digital age, the ability to disappear from someone's life with the swipe of a finger. Our alpha male, after a string of failed attempts to woo the modern woman, finds himself on the receiving end of her newfound power. He sends messages that go unanswered. His calls go straight to voicemail. And his carefully crafted dating app profile, once a beacon of masculinity, is suddenly met with a dreaded left swipe. He's confused, bewildered. What happened to all the good girls who appreciated a man who took charge? Where did they go? And why are they all suddenly too busy, or not looking for anything serious, even though his profile clearly states he's seeking a relationship? He doesn't understand that ghosting, blocking, and unmatching are not personal attacks. Well, not entirely. They're simply a modern woman's way of saying, thanks, but no thanks. I'd rather spend my time with someone who understands that chivalry isn't dead. It's just evolved into something far more interesting. Section 1. The evolution of manly. From hunting mammoths to mindfulness apps. Let's face it, the alpha male, he's a product of a bygone era, like those powdered wigs that made everyone scratch their heads, literally. Back in the day, manly meant wrestling bears, building empires, and probably not crying, ever, because tears put out the fire in your belly, or something like that. But times, they are a-changin'. as a wise man with a guitar once sang. These days, you're more likely to find a dude at a farmer's market debating the ethical sourcing of kale than you are to see him wrestling a grizzly. And you know what? That's okay. The modern man, he's embracing his softer side. He's traded in his six-pack abs for a six-pack of craft beer. Locally brewed, of course. He swapped his hunting rifle for a subscription to Headspace. He's not afraid to cry during Pixar movies. And he knows the difference between a Merlot and a Malbec and which one pairs best with a good cry. Sensitivity is the new sexy? Meet the beta male, the alpha's more emotionally available cousin. He listens, remembers your favorite flower, and doesn't dominate conversations. He's not afraid to express his feelings, even shedding a tear. Confident and secure, he embraces his softer side. Modern women are digging it. Section 3. The alpha male identity crisis. Therapy, bro? So, where does this leave our beloved alpha male? In the midst of an existential crisis, that's where. He's like a dinosaur watching an asteroid hurtle towards Earth, wondering what happened to his dominance over the planet. He sees all these beta males winning over the women he thought were automatically drawn to his alpha awesomeness, and he's starting to question everything. He thought confidence and assertiveness were the keys to a woman's heart. Now, he's wondering if maybe, just maybe, there's more to the game than he initially thought. He might even consider, dare I say it, therapy. Imagine that, an alpha male on a therapist's couch, exploring his feelings. It's a beautiful thing, really. He might even discover that vulnerability isn't a weakness, it's a superpower. That being in touch with his emotions doesn't make him any less of a man. It just makes him a more well-rounded human being. Section 4. A New Hope. Alpha 2.0. Rebooted and ready to mingle. But fear not, fans of assertive go-getters. The alpha male is not extinct. He's simply evolving. He's like a Pokemon, leveling up, learning new moves, and maybe even evolving into a more powerful, emotionally intelligent creature. This new and improved alpha male, he's got it all. The confidence, the drive, the ambition, but with a healthy dose of empathy, compassion, and a willingness to listen without interrupting. He's still got that alpha energy, but it's tempered with a newfound understanding of what modern women really want. He's not afraid to challenge himself, to grow, to evolve. He's realizing that being an alpha male isn't about dominating others. It's about mastering himself. It's about being the best version of himself he can be, both mentally and emotionally. And you know what? That's attractive. That's the kind of alpha male who can not only survive in the modern dating world, but thrive in it. Section 1. The jungle's verdict, survival of the fittest and funniest. So, there you have it, folks. The hilarious, often messy, and always entertaining collision of alpha males and the modern woman. It's a jungle out there, no doubt, but survival of the fittest doesn't just mean who can lift the heaviest weight or roar the loudest. In this brave new world of dating, emotional intelligence, empathy, and a good sense of humor are the ultimate weapons. Our alpha male, he might stumble and bumble along the way, but hey, that's where the comedy gold lies, right? Who knows? Maybe he'll learn to appreciate the power of a well-timed compliment over a cheesy pickup line. Maybe he'll discover that listening is a superpower and vulnerability isn't a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength. Section 2. A final word. Embrace the evolution, baby. The dating game, it's changing, evolving, and becoming a whole lot more interesting and hilarious in the process. The old rules are being rewritten. The power dynamics are shifting. And honestly, It's about damn time. So, let's raise a glass of locally brewed craft beer, naturally, to the alpha males brave enough to adapt, to evolve, and to embrace the wonderful, wild world of modern dating. And let's give a standing ovation to the modern women who are changing the game, one swipe, one eye roll, one witty retort at a time. Because at the end of the day, whether you're an alpha, a beta, or somewhere in between, we're all just trying to find someone who makes us laugh, challenges us, and maybe even remembers to take out the trash every once in a while. And that's something we can all cheers to.